Hey, Detronus here. Today we're going over the best build in Witcher 3. With the game having been out for a year now, and the last DLC coming out in a few days, I wanted this video to be a sort of primer for you to get a good build going that would synergize with the new content in Blood and Wine. The build captured in this video offers some flexibility, but overall it's going to offer you tons of survivability, a lot of sustainable healing, and tons of consistent damage output, and also a very nice animation to play along with in Whirlwind. Overall, the build synergizes very highly with the decoctions and the potions in the game. All the footage in this video is on the Broken Bones difficulty on my New Game Plus playthrough, so it's been put through the fire and tested. Let's begin. The first skill you want to take is Tissue Transformation. This is the foundation of the build. You'll be using 3 decoctions in this build, and with this talent, you'll get 1,000 vitality for each of those. And your potion duration time and decoction effective duration will both be increased, so your decoctions will last around several hours. With various other talents we'll get to in a little bit, you see that my vitality right now is at 12,400. That's a lot of hit points. You might know that an enemy's level is a component of the function of the enemy's damage against you. If they're grayed out, their damage is weakened against you. If they're green, it stays the same, and if it's red, they do a higher amount of damage against you. You can always turn on the damage text in the options menu to find out exactly how much an enemy is hurting you. A red monster that's about 10 levels higher than me, as you've seen in this video, does about 1,300 damage a hit, while a gray one does about, 130. However, with a 12,000 or even 16,000 health pool like I've gotten sometimes in this build, that damage you can just shrug off. The next skill you should add is Hunter Instinct. This is the cornerstone of your damage in this build. When your adrenaline points are at 3, their maximum, your critical hit damage is increased by 100%. And with some skills later in the combat tree, you'll see that this requirement is quite easy to maintain. This next skill synergizes quite nicely with Endure Pain. Your vitality is increased by 50% when your toxicity exceeds the safe threshold. Like I said earlier, we'll be running with 3 decoctions, and you'll always be above the safe threshold, yet you'll always be safe with the talent we'll discuss later on. The next talent is Acquired Tolerance. This increases your toxicity based on how many formula you have, so get as many as you can. This will help you maintain 3 decoctions, but also give you some room to use a Swallow or even a Thunderbolt around the same time. Next, you want to use Killing Spree. This says if your potion toxicity is above 0, opponents killed increases your critical hit chance by 50% additionally. This synergizes greatly with the 100% critical hit damage we get from having 3 adrenaline points. The next talent is in fact Synergy, and it synergizes quite well with our build. It increases your mutagen placed in mutagen slots by 50%. So for us that means more vitality and more attack power, since we have green and red mutagen in our slots. The next skill we want to pick up is Whirlwind. This is going to be our stamina dump. This skill has some things going for it. It does a lot of damage, it looks awesome, it staggers enemies, you can actually stun lock some enemies, and it synergizes quite nicely with the Echidna decoction, where as you deplete stamina, you heal. The next talent is Heightened Tolerance. And this is very important. It increases your potion overdose threshold by 25%. I saw that if I did not have this, the toxicity being above the safe threshold would actually drain my health. It would kill me over time. So this is kind of necessary for this build. The next talent I use is Bear School Techniques. This means that every heavy armor you have increases your vitality by 5% and your strong attack damage. Would the light armor version of this talent be better? Yes, it would be. But for me, I really like their Ursine armor, and nothing else really. So if you want the extra damage, sure, pick light armor, and go with the Feline. That actually augments your fast attack damage, since this build's all about that. But for me, I'll stay with my good looks. This next talent, Razor Focus, allows you to get to those 3 adrenaline points you need to get that 100% critical hit damage increase. This talent makes it where you get a free adrenaline point once you enter combat and allows you to generate them faster with each additional attack. However, here's some reasons why you might not want to take this talent. With having 4 combat talents, you're already getting a good amount of adrenaline points increase, and you're also getting adrenaline point increases from your Witcher gear. So if this isn't your fancy, you can always use the talent 2 above this one, in the first row at the end. That makes it where you don't lose any adrenaline points if you get hit at all, because you do lose adrenaline points if you get hit in this game. However, if you're good at dodging things, then this talent, Razor Focus, might be your pick. The second to last talent, Muscle Memory, just makes your fast attack damage higher. Likewise, this next and last talent, Precise Blows, just makes your critical hit damage and your critical hit chance higher, all of which are very essential in this build. Like I mentioned earlier, this build does have some flexibility. For instance, if you do not want to play this fast attack, square hitting playstyle with Whirlwind, take out Whirlwind and put Rend in, or just simply take out the fast attack augmented talents and put in the strong attack variants. So you're doing strong attacks to stamina dump and regain health and deal the majority of your damage. Now let's talk about the gear you should use. I simply use the Ursine armor because it looks cool, but you might want to use the Feline armor as that makes your fast attacks more powerful. You want to pick up gear that has critical hit damage and critical hit chance as much as possible. I have heavy armor gear on to mesh with my bear school techniques. And if you're in the New Game Plus playthrough, you want to pick up the legendary variants of your Witcher gear. Unlike me, I haven't done that yet. Now let's move on to what decoctions you might want to use. The first one, no matter what, is the Echidna decoction. Whether you have the strong attack playstyle with Rend or your strong attacks, or you have Whirlwind with the fast attack playstyle, as you dump stamina, this gives you health in return, so you're always healing yourself while doing damage. The next decoction you want to use is the Ikimara decoction. Regardless if you're playing the fast attack or strong attack variants of this build, you need this decoction. As you do damage, you heal. It doesn't get any more simple or beautiful than that. Even your bleeds heal you, as you see in this video. No stamina consumption is necessary for this. Now your last decoction depends on whether or not you want to use the fast attack or strong attack variant of this build. For strong attack, use the Arc Griffin decoction. You don't even need the Rend talent to use this. Any strong attack will deplete all your stamina, increase the damage of that, and heal you for a large amount. Obviously, the Arc Griffin decoction is useless for the fast attack build. You want to dump your stamina into Whirlwind, not Rend or strong attacks. So the decoction of choice for this build is Katakan. This simply just gives you 5% more crit chance, which is what you need, honestly. Or you could go with the Waterhead decoction that increases your damage by 50%, but requires you to have full health, which is kind of difficult to do. Well, I did say that I wanted this video to be a type of primer going into Blood and Wine DLC, and by primer I mean not only get you prepared to do this new difficult content at any challenge level, but also to complement the build with the new mutation system in place. I won't describe how the mutation system works in this video. This is the wiki on IGN that you could read on your own time, but basically mutations are just extra abilities, right? There's 12 new ones, and there's a couple of them that are very, very nice that work with our build. And the first one I wanted to go for was Euphoria. Now, this says each point of toxicity, which in our build, at least right now, I'm at about 240 toxicity with 3 decoctions. It increases your sword damage and sign intensity by 0.75% to a maximum of 75%. So with 242 toxicity points, we're hitting that cap. So we're getting 75% more sword damage. Talk about synergistic. That's great. The next one is just kind of amazing. It's called Mutated Skin. Almost overpowered even. It says that each full adrenaline point decreases damage received by 15%, up to 45%. So here, remember that our goal and our abilities help us reach this goal of having 3 adrenaline points at all times, right? So we can get that 100% extra critical hit damage bonus. So along with that, we're also having the amount of damage. And by having, I mean with an L. We're splitting that damage in half. that incoming damage. So this is another one. Euphoria and Mutated Skin are two huge new mutation abilities that we'll want to augment our build with in this video. Now the last one is this it? Yep, Metamorphosis. This is kind of crazy too. I'm not sure if this will work the way I'm kind of thinking it will, but let's go ahead and read it. Inflicting critical effects on an enemy will activate a random decoction for 2 minutes with 0 added toxicity. This can stack up for 3 decoctions. So that's all we need right here. If you remember, our build specializes in critical hit chance. Heck, we even have an ability that makes it if we kill an enemy, we get 50% more critical hit chance for the duration of the fight. So couple that with this fact, with our other ability, Tissue Transformation, that makes it where every decoction we have gives us 1,000 more vitality. So here it's saying that we can get 3 decoctions that last 2 minutes. So even after the fight, these things are lasting for 2 minutes. So that's about 3,000 more 3,000 more vitality. So this is insane. So between Metamorphosis, Mutated Skin, and Euphoria, we're doing 75% more sword damage, which I'm not quite sure how that'll affect with critical hit chance and critical hit damage. We also have 45% less incoming damage, and we're adding 3,000 health to our already massively large health pool. So we're talking about having 16,000 plus health, 45% less damage. We are going to be tanks with this build, and that's why I was so excited to make this video. Hopefully it was helpful and informative and entertaining, and you know, I'm quite sad that the Witcher world is coming to an end, at least with Geralt, with this last piece of DLC. Witcher 3 was one of the best games I've ever played in my life, and I hope you guys enjoyed it too. Though sometimes the populace was vile and the skies dark, there was a certain beauty to this game that I couldn't deny. Geralt, we'll miss you and your world. Enjoy, friends.